Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Got to be a little quiet. I'm sitting in my office, but I'm at lunch. So let me just say this. I was doing some research on this pastor in Houston that had just admitted to inappropriate relationships with a child. A child, okay? He's saying she was a young lady. At the time, she was 12 years old, okay? 12 years old. So it's a Texas mega church. His name is Robert Morris, and he was, well, still a Gateway Church. He's the founder of Gateway Church. So I'm looking through stuff, and then I find the church with no name. But good afternoon, Joe B and Joe. Cranky, I can't remember. MTB, Island Girl. Hi, sweetie. I gotta reply to your message. Laura 60. Hello. M Wit. Hello. Soriana. Hello. Bambi. Hi. So I might have to push my $2 mattress for sale today. I might have to push it a little bit, but let me just see how the rest of my day go. Um, so then I came across the church with no name. So I'm digging into this, right? So then I find out that this is not the first the victims, okay? This has been going on now. It goes back to, I think the woman's, she's 60, no, she's 49 now. And she was, and she's from Vancouver Island, but she was the first to come out about the sexual exploitation of kids. Hi, Snuggle Bunny. So, but she was sexually abused by a woman. She was abused by a woman. So then I keep going, so then I find this video. And I'm like, oh my God. So they go by the name of the church with no name, or the 2x2s, or the truth. That's the name that the church goes by. Okay. So I was like, okay, what the hell is this about? So they say that they have 1,500 documented cases of child sexual abuse. So let me just get this video, and so they're asking for victims. So the church was founded by William Irvin. He's an evangelist. He's a Scotsman, and he brought the faith to Canada in the early 1900s. So the 2x2s, they do not own places of worship. This happens like in their houses. They go from house to house and have all of these meetings. So it's like we used to do. Like I would have Freaky Friday. One of my friends would have Thirsty Thursday. So we would go to each other's homes, and we would do it like once a week. So one day to be a Monday at my sister's, a Tuesday at this house, or whatever. So this is the way this sect actually worked. It's home-based fellowship. Okay, so they would meet on Sunday and Thursday. I think I remember reading Sunday and Thursdays. So it was just, but the bad part is the parents knew about it. The parents knew about it. So let me just put this up here, and it's 19 minutes long, guys, so I can get this done, which I have an hour anyway, but let's just get this done. I have, so when the woman actually first came out about it, they were doing everything to get her back into the fold. But now this has gotten to the point where now the FBI has actually launched an investigation, and they launched their investigation in February. Good afternoon, ASOPs. So I was like, I'm digging on one and I find something else. So I said, okay, I can't wait. I need to share this with you guys. So hold on a second. Let me get this. Hold on, let's do this.
The FBI is investigating a religious sect that's facing allegations involving child sex abuse.
Sick. I mean, I'm just broken. Like, I could just cry right now.
The power and control.
We couldn't believe it.
There is so many more layers to this.
The They call themselves 2x2s, or the Church with No Name.
And there's a following here in the Bay Area. ABC 7 News
Yes.
reporter Stephanie.
Sorry
Sierra
about that.
has been-
So what the FBI is investigating now is the sect that's in the Bay Area, San Francisco, that area. So that's where the investigation is stemming from. And this is what's going on right now. So this broke like 4 days ago. So I'm behind 4 days ago. So I was looking into the pastor at Gateway, and this is what I found. Now, Robert Morris, before we get on to this, the pastor at Gateway, he was a spiritual advisor to Donald Trump. He was a spiritual advisor to Donald Trump. Okay. Now the allegations came out in 1987. Okay. Everybody knew about it. He repented, Jerry Falwell, I've sinned, I've this and that and everything else. But he called her a young lady. She was 12 years old. 12 years old. Okay. So she wasn't 16, 17, 18, 12 years old. He took her innocence. So this is what Robert Morris did, the advisor to Mr. Trump. Okay, spiritual advisor at that. So let's get into the Church with No Name.
Weeks. Speaking with former members and joins us live tonight to share their stories. Stephanie.
Yes, Alma and Dan, we have a lot to get to. Tonight, you'll get an extensive look into an organization former members say has something to hide. A so-called secret believed to have been swept under the rug for decades, haunting one generation after the next, including families right here in the Bay Area.
72 miles south of San Francisco, in a remote, isolated location of San Martin, there's allegations a dark secret is hiding within this ministry.
Walking in the way of
Oh
God.
my God.
It's a non-denominational Christian religious sect that's been around for more than 100 years.
But God that cannot lie.
Sometimes called the Church with No Name, or the 2x2s by outsiders.
How would you describe this organization? They use fear and manipulation.
All right,
This organization literally hurts my stomach when I think about it.
A very persuasive type of religion.
If they didn't talk to God's true people, his chosen ones, then yes, they are going to hell.
I mean, what specifically do they do?
You're scared of the world. They make it a scary place to leave.
This is where I absolutely blame the truth for all of this.
See, they call it the truth. They're known as 2x2s, the truth, and the Church with No Name. There's a church in Houston called the Church with No Walls, and I don't understand why, because they're in a brick and mortar building. Okay.
The 2x2s are often referred today.
Wait a minute, Joe. Wait a minute. Your dad left the 2x2s when he was about 50. He met my stepmom at a convention and they married shortly after. She was the first one to leave and showed my dad what was going on. So Joe B and Joe, you know about this. Oh my God. Oh my God, Joe B and Joe. And I just thought that you weren't abused, so that's a good thing. Oh my God, but this, you should have told me about this, Joe B and Joe.
As the truth by its followers. According to the ministry's doctrine, this is the only way to find true salvation.
Do you think they're being truthful?
They're not being truthful. No.
Former members say that truth has something to hide.
Sick.
Secretive,
Sick. I mean, I'm just broken. Like, I could just cry right now.
very harmful.
His type was small-framed brunette girl.
A convicted child molester, and he'd been in our home.
There is so many more layers to this.
In February, the FBI announced it's investigating the ministry and seeking victim information following allegations of child sexual abuse reported across the U.S. The church generally operates inside private homes of members, where worship services are held on Wednesdays and Sundays. It was founded by Scottish evangelist William Irvine in the late 1800s. Historical records suggest it wasn't until the early 1900s the ministry set roots in the Bay Area.
They went about in pairs. They call it 2 by 2. That's where we get the name.
Cherie Kropp, a former member and author of a historical biography on the religious sect, explains the hierarchy. Overseers are at the top, considered to be church leadership. Below them are the ministers or workers that travel in pairs of 2 men or 2 women as they evangelize and preach to members. Below them are the elders and friends that make up the members of the congregation.
The preachers were to be celibate.
These ministers often live in members' homes for a period of time before moving to the next. According to the scripture, it's considered an honor to host them.
I do remember workers, if they stayed with us, they would sleep in like our room.
Lynette Burridge Flanagan is a former member who lives in Union City. She says her cousin, Laura Lee Brown, pictured on the left, was sexually abused by another member at the age of 9 until she was 13.
So this other young woman that put the claim out of her abuse, it went on to she was like 16 years old. So this little girl was abused from 9 to the age of 13. So I'm thinking maybe that's the length of time that they lived in the house. I'm not sure, but this is disgusting.
Parents aware of this? Was there an effort to report this abuse?
No.
I agree.
Why do you think that is?
I think that they wanted to keep it a secret because I think that they believe that if you tarnish their perfect way or their perfect will or the only way, then that would look bad on them.
Can you walk me through what happened?
Her cousin, Laura Lee, says it's been a nightmare ever since.
My little foot in the slipper. This was in the middle of the time of the 3 years.
That makeup on her eyes.
She shared a picture of her alleged perpetrator the night of his engagement to another woman.
He would immediately go back to sexually interacting with me whenever he could.
How often would this happen?
On a week-to-week basis. It would happen about 2 times a week or more.
Oh my God.
Laura Lee says for 3 years, she
I
didn't
did watch some of
understand what
this.
was going on until 6th grade sex ed class.
And I left the class and went outside. And it was the first time I realized what had happened to me.
She was 13.
My parents were actually told at that time. I couldn't do school.
Laura Lee says she tried reporting it again 4 years later at age 17, but her parents still didn't believe her.
So with my parents, them allowing that to happen, basically, they allowed it.
My mom and dad.
Lynette says it's a crooked culture that's been passed through generations.
We do know that there was some abuse of my mom's. It was from her father. And
so her mother was abused by her father. Now in the Bay Area, there are 1,500 documented cases of child abuse by this church, the Church of the Truth, the Church of No Name, the No Name Church, 2 by 2s, whatever you want to call them. They are a sect. They are a cult.
Touched her inappropriately, and she was just like, Dad, like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I just want to see what kind of girl I raised. I want to make sure. Who does that?
Another former member who grew up in Visalia, south of Fresno, says her father was also a victim of abuse. Years later, Sheriatri says she experienced it herself.
My abuse started with a minister. He started grooming me when he was in our field 2 years before the abuse started.
At the age of 13, she says a 28-year-old worker by the name of Steve Rose molested her throughout the duration of his 2-month visit in her home.
From my memory, it happened on a nightly basis. I mean, it was regular.
If you questioned him, tried to report it, what would happen?
You would get gaslit profusely. and accused of having a bad spirit or the devil's getting into you.
Oh my
So how
God.
dare you question God?
In 1986, Autry wrote a high school research paper claiming that Rose repeatedly told her not to tell her parents. She says he promised her, quote, "If you ever get pregnant, then I'll marry you." He said what he was doing to me was right. Everyone in the church and public thought he was nice. Now, that same year, Rose sent an apology letter to church leadership where he admitted to kissing and touching Autry intimately, saying, quote, "I did not intend to cover this up, but I did not know how to handle it other than to leave the area and beg God to forgive me." Rose denied promising to marry Autry and stated they didn't have sex. Adding in the email, this did not happen with anyone else. Fast forward from 19.
Okay, do we believe that didn't happen with anyone else? I don't believe him, because you just don't start touching kids and you just don't just stop. Now, in New Orleans, they have legislation has been passed where they can do chemical castration on child molesters. So that's been passed. It was passed a month or two ago. So that is now legal in New Orleans. And I think they all should have chemical castration or cut their dicks off.
1986 to April of 2023. An email was sent to members about Rose, stating another allegation was made from outside of the state of Minnesota. The ABC 7 News I team made multiple calls to Steve Rose to get further comment, but we never heard back. ABC's Kira Phillips was able to track him down in Minneapolis. Here's what he had to say.
Steve Rose, Kira Phillips with ABC News. I'd like to ask you about these letters that you wrote Sherry Autry's parents and also your overseer.
Yeah, no comment.
Did you sexually
comment.
abuse Sherry Autry when she was 14 and you were 28?
No comment.
Your overseer said that what you did was a felony. Do you believe your church protected you from this kind of abuse? Protected you from?
Look at him smirking.
Does your church protect sexual
Everybody's going to know who you are now.
Does your church protect the children? We just want to get your side of the story. We want your response to what you wrote. You wrote that you were weak in the flesh. You were weak in the flesh. That's what you wrote. You woke the.
It was not a secret.
Everybody knows who he is now. Okay, they know who he is, and I hope he has kids and a wife. Okay, I didn't get to that part. I just started skimming through the video, so I missed that just to see exactly what it was about. I said, oh no, I can't hold this. So let me keep going. An innocent man would have said, hell no, thank you. But he wrote the letter. Crafting with Amanda. Welcome, sweetie.
Amongst leadership that he had molested me.
Autry says 6 years later, Rose was out of the ministry, but still leading meetings in his own home. She says she was horrified.
Okay, you do grape juice instead of wine to not tempt an alcoholic, but yet you keep pedophiles in meeting and put children in front of them.
Rose never faced criminal charges in this case and likely never will. According to the Tulare County DA's office, prosecutors have meticulously reviewed reports and victim accounts in this case and have determined that any potential crime falls outside of California's statute of limitations. We spoke with legal.
Do we hear that? It falls outside of their statute of limitations. So what should she do? I would pursue him civilly. She has the emails he wrote. He wrote them. And hi, Claudia. He wrote them. She has them. I would pursue him, take him to court, and blast his ass all over the place, which he was just blasted on ABC News. So this was posted 4 days ago.
Expert and veteran criminal defense attorney Seth Chazen, who specializes in sex crime cases.
Is this true?
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, the charges can't be filed in this case due to the running of the statute of limitations.
So just to be clear, do either of these cases have any criminal recourse?
No, charges were not filed prior to the alleged victim's 40th birthday.
According to a well-known anti-sexual violence organization, RAINN, only 7 states have eliminated the statute of limitations for all felony sex crimes.
And Texas is
California
trying to
is
right now
not
too.
one of them, in part because certain felony sex offenses like rape still has a statute of limitations.
We understand state lawmakers have attempted to change this.
Yeah, AB 2295 is simply saying there will be no statute of limitations
There shouldn't be
for any child sexual assault.
But that bill has yet to pass. For now, the only law on the books is one that allows alleged victims who file a claim within 5 years or by age 40 to seek civil damages for childhood sexual assaults.
See, I just said that. Take him to court, civil damages. I would take his ass to court. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want it all over the place. But in this case, I do believe she stands a good chance of winning. Yes, it's current news. It just was
that occurred
it was done 4 days ago.
And both Sherry Autry and Laura Lee Brown.
Well, ABC News has been investigating. They put it out 4 days ago, but the FBI went in February and they opened their investigation. So yes, it is current news. It's in the Bay Area.
Say there was a sense of fear that prevented them from reporting their alleged abuse at the time.
And it was just such a symbolization of the power and control.
Hi, my friend Mo. How are you? I miss you. I miss you. I'm gonna hit you up on IG later on. Okay. Yeah, I got to get through this because I need to have a meeting at 1:15. Okay, hold on.
I don't know how I went through that year.
Decades later, it's unclear who exactly to hold accountable, but we tried to reach current local leadership representing the Bay Area congregation for further comment. We never heard back. That's until we located Gary Paul, a veteran worker based in Washington State, North Idaho, and Alaska. He was not involved in any of these cases, but we spoke with him about the broader allegations facing the ministry. He recently visited the South Bay for a special meeting. These meetings only happen on rare scheduled occasions, but they're difficult to track down as the schedules aren't posted publicly, and several were reportedly shut down following pressure from the federal investigation.
They preached the word.
After preaching this Sunday service,
Me and God.
Paul agreed to speak with us virtually the following week.
Gary, I've talked with numerous former members who say they have been sexually abused by ministers who were staying in their home at the time. Many of them say it went on for years. What's your response after hearing that?
Well, I never saw it. And knowing the, quote, church leadership, I find that very difficult to believe.
Nonprofit.
Excuse me. He found that very difficult to believe when you have 1,500 cases. Hi, Tina. 1,500 cases. Yeah, and the people will protect him at all costs. It's a damn cult. But he finds it hard to believe. Are you kidding me? He knows what's going on.
Kids for the Truth, an organization dedicated to helping survivors across the world, says it's received reports on more than 900 alleged perpetrators that have been identified by a hotline worldwide.
That's perpetrators.
The organization says there are more than 1,500 alleged victims who've reached out for help since its inception in March last year. Autry is the former president and co-founder.
The FBI is now investigating your church. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't think it's necessary, but they're doing it, so that's fine.
And you don't think it's necessary? Why?
Because I don't think that there is a cult trying to hide things.
There are hundreds of alleged victims that have come out indicating they were abused at one point or another. Because the allegations were made, don't you think it's important an investigation is done to fully vet what happened?
I suppose it would be.
I suppose it would be. I suppose it would be if that was his child or his grandchildren, which who knows, they may be being abused. But I don't know if the man has kids or not. I really don't. But if they're covering it up, they know what was going on. The parents knew what was going on, and they're gaslighting people. Yeah, you know what's going on.
After 57 years in the ministry, Paul says he never dealt with a child sexual assault case, nor received formal training on how to respond to such allegations until after the federal investigation began.
Just to be clear, is that training voluntary or required now?
Voluntary.
Don't you think it should be required?
I don't think it should be required.
Would you consider this ministry to be secretive?
No, we're definitely not.
But some of those who grew up in it disagree. Is there a culture within this religious sect that encourages
Oh, I
sweeping
love that.
things
That's
under the
beautiful.
rug?
Uncomfortable topics are swept under the rug.
Ex-member Michael Day says he experienced that firsthand. He grew up in the religious sect with his cousin, John Vandenberg, a Hayward native.
It was shocking. He was
Thank you, G4. Hi,
on a
G14.
missionary trip. When
Long
he was coming
time.
back, he was kicked out. He was molesting people, inappropriate touching of girls in the Philippines and one in Mexico. But they're just hearsay. I don't know.
Vandenberg died in March this year. Nearly a year before, this email was sent out from a regional leader in the ministry, reporting Vandenberg was the subject of several credible
allegations of unacceptable sexual behavior, including a complaint of inappropriate touching of a minor, which was reported to the authorities. You tell me this man that they were speaking to before doesn't know about this and he's a leader? Bullshit.
Allegations of unacceptable sexual behavior, including a complaint of inappropriate touching of a minor, which was reported to the authorities.
I feel really bad, especially if they feel violated.
Day says he had 35 ministers or workers stay at his home growing up.
And one of them, who John knew and we knew, stayed in our home and was later came out as a convicted child molester.
In the years that followed, Day says he grew out of the faith and was displeased with what he called the hypocrisy.
I would hear that there are no rules. We have no rules. No, there's rules galore.
A lot of man-made rules.
There are absolutely rules, and none of them are written down.
There's no jewelry.
Other than a wedding ring, basically no makeup.
TV, you must have long
That
hair.
explains your
You have to wear
makeup.
it pinned up on your head.
Wearing just very conservative clothes, like really dresses.
And no slacks or shorts.
What happens if you wear pants?
You would be looked at like up and down, like, what are you wearing? Like, why are you wearing pants?
There was one woman who had to confirm that she'd thrown away all her makeup and would not wear it again.
We asked Paul about that. He denied any rules about makeup.
What about wearing pants to Sunday service?
I don't feel that's very womanly. What the scripture says is that a woman should not wear what pertains to a man.
The scriptures don't say that shit. I'm sorry. The scriptures don't say that. Oh my God. Good afternoon, Damon. The scriptures don't say. Oh my God. This is their rules. This is their rules. Joe being Joe, you were part of that religion and I didn't even know, but I knew he was lying. I knew he was lying.
Not womanly to wear pants nor go to college, according to Laura Lee Brown. She says she wanted to be an attorney, but was told by the ministry.
That's too worldly. We don't think you should do that.
A religion with a strong set of rules that preaches they are destined to find the truth or the one true way. But questions linger as to who's really being honest.
We were told that the way is perfect, but the people are not.
But some former members argue the way is far from perfect.
There's no accountability when you go and try to talk to them about it. There's a cover. They'll just ignore you. They'll deny it.
Some former members believe there should be rules in place prohibiting ministers from staying in people's homes, arguing that it would protect innocent children from potentially being exposed to.
That's not true because her mother was abused by her own father. So let's not say it's just the workers, okay? Let's not say it's just the workers. This is what they do within that sect. This is their faith. There are no rules. Nothing is off limits to them. Nothing.
To predatory behavior. Do you agree with that?
No, nowhere in the scripture does that support that. And in the multitude of years that I've been in it, it's never been a problem.
How do you know it hasn't been a problem?
It's never been a problem that I'm aware of. Obviously, it could have been, but I wasn't aware of it.
He's
Just because you
lying.
weren't aware of it. Well, don't you see value in protecting future generations, given what has already been?
Oh my God. That's what I thought too, Callie, babe. That's what I thought too. I'm like, okay, yeah, they want you to wear dresses so they can see your legs, so they can fantasize. They don't want you covering up. That's exactly what I thought. So, you know, and I really think they need to investigate the Church of Scientology. They really need to be investigated. Hillsong Church needs to be investigated. Shit, I'm going to go as far as saying Joel Osteen's church needs to be investigated.
Publicly revealed.
I think it would affect the quality of our ministry. We've always stayed in the homes of God's people. Staying
God's
in a home
people
makes you very vulnerable. It's true that the children in the family home are vulnerable also, but that's the way that the fellowship has been established.
But you know this makes people vulnerable, but you still do it. You're in a leadership position. Why are you staying in these people's homes with their young children? Get the hell out of here with that bullshit.
Your perspective, what do you think it will take to see real change from all this?
Well,
he doesn't think anything is wrong.
I don't like the word change, because there's a lot of things about the fellowship that cannot change.
So what cannot change is them staying in people's homes and molesting their children while their parents are aware of what's going on. And the word change means that you will be held accountable for the shit that you're doing. So now the FBI is involved, and there's let me say it again, 1,500 documented cases with 909 or 919 perpetrators that they are aware of. You guys got life messed up.
It doesn't stop when the abuse stops.
Oh, you said that, G14? I didn't look at the comments.
They manipulate people. It affects the rest of your life. It'll affect your children's life.
Preserving the truth.
The irony is the ministry conflicts with former members, yet both are on missions to seek the truth. The question is, will it bring justice?
So
now the FBI continues to seek the public's help in identifying victims of abuse within this religious group. If you have any information that could assist this investigation or have personally been victimized by anyone affiliated with this group, go to our website, abc7news.com, to report directly to the FBI.
Okay, it's the church with no name. And I didn't even know this. See, there is Secrets of the 2x2 Church, The Impact on Hulu. I didn't even know this. I was investigating Robert, and then this pops up. And this has been going on since early 1987. Well, the church came to the Bay Area in the 1900s, but it was founded in Canada. And this woman in Canada, I think today there's like 75,000 members of the church. The woman in Canada, her name was, what is it? McCheesney? So that abuse, her name is Leanne McCheesney. She was arrested in January, and she was charged with 1 count of sexual abuse and 1 count of sexual exploitation of this young woman that she sexually abused. The young woman's name was Lindell Montgomery, and she was 14 years old. So it's a woman that abused another young woman, and she was arrested, and she's 60 years old now. So now the woman that was molested is 49. But in Canada, like Joe B and Joe said, there is no statute of limitations. Let me see. Heidi, when the problem is when you're a sick child predator molester, you don't wake up one day and you're changed. You need serious help. Yes, they need serious help. So there is all kinds of videos on this, And I just want to show you guys there is, hold on, let me stop presenting this. Let me take this off. And I just want to show you, and I'm serious, I am late to the punch. They've been covering this now for like Jay for Justice covered it yesterday. And then there's a podcast called Ready to Harvest. They did one, Who Are the 2x2s? So they were talking about them 11 months ago. Then we have ABC 7. We have Jacob Penn, who is doing, he has a full playlist on them. And then there's another guy named John Smith, Exposing the 2x2 Church. So this is a cult. This is a cult. And then you have this one woman, her name is Laura Conti, and her podcast is called Talk Beliefs and Leaving the 2x2s. So they're all on YouTube, all on YouTube. I mean, these people, it's a cult. They're abusing children and they're using the word of God as an excuse. They are bigger than the church in the Scientology. Yeah, they got like 75,000 members. And Scientology only has 35,000? No, Cali Babe, yes. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me see how many members of the Church of Scientology. Hold on. Let me ask Google. If I don't know, I'm asking Google. How many members are there for the Church of Scientology? Okay, they have under 40,000. I'm sorry. I thought they were bigger than that. Hi, Yasmina. Wait a minute. Scientology in the United States. In 2007, an official claimed 3.5 million members in the United States. But according to published by the city of New York, they're saying that they are under 40,000 in June of 2024. But the church is claiming 3.5 million members. So are these members that they've wait a minute, how are they claiming this when University of New York says that they're the city University of New York says they're under 40,000 members? Huh. Okay. Yes, I have watched that. Oh my God. But yeah, so this it's a whole cult, but I wanted to bring that to you guys. So I'm actually going to watch this thing on Hulu. I'm going to have to watch that. The Secrets, I will watch that. And then, oh my God, secretive Christian sect allegedly ignored. Oh, hold on a second, guys. Hold on. Oh, I think this is another part. Oh, and there was an arrest made in the rape of a 13-year-old in Queens Park. Hold on, I was using that story this morning. So hold on a second. Let me grab this, and then I gotta go. Let me grab this. I was just looking at that earlier today. Let's see. Breaking news. I got exclusive footage. Breaking news. Okay.
Breaking news. 13-year-old girl last Thursday, Casino Park, Queens, shocked our entire city. The horrific crime was committed in broad daylight, and our investigators immediately went about finding and apprehending the person responsible. For 4 straight days, they worked around the clock. They canvassed neighborhoods, collected evidence, knocked on doors, circulated photos and video.
Oh, this has affected him.
Efforts to
nice
close
suit.
this case.
Nice tie.
Our department reached out to the media and to the public, and our city was united in getting justice for the victim and her family. No tip went uninvestigated. Every call to 911, 311.
Did you hear that? It happened in broad daylight, and that's what caught my attention. Broad daylight.
And Crime Stoppers was critical. And just after 1 a.m, after several days of engaging the public for their help,
they count dead members too?
Was seen in the confines of the 110 precinct. Officers responded to the location, removed the individual from the station house, and after further...
Oh, this is a bad video. Shit.
Further investigation, we are confident that this person who committed this terrible crime is now in custody. Today, the next phase of the Criminal Justice Bureau begins. We will continue working closely with the Queens DA to hold this person accountable. But now, I want to thank all of our investigators.
Who is the person?
Justice in this case.
I want to see a picture of him. They don't show a picture of him. They don't show a picture of him, but they caught him. I want to see a picture. This is a bad video.
You are a true credit to this department, and you continue to make all...
Or maybe my internet is blocking. Yes, it was in Queens. Oh, please subscribe to the channel so you can get my notifications, sweetie. And thank you so much for coming. I will be doing a follow-up on this church with no name.
About every major case we investigate. And I especially want to thank New Yorkers.
I want to know who got the $10,000
in the eyes and ears of the engaged, fully involved public. This is exactly what we mean when we talk about public safety is a shared responsibility.
Yes, it was in Queens. Okay, so it's the bad video, and it's not me. So I'm going to see, can I find a better one? But that was just
new from the
put
ABC
up
7
there.
News team. The FBI is
it was a bad
investigating
video.
a religious sect that's facing allegations involving child sex abuse.
I was actually going to talk about the 4-year-old and the 2-year-old, but I will do that tomorrow. But I just wanted you guys to see this, and I'm not sure I'm going to be pushing the envelope. I may be a little late if I feel that I can't, if I'm not going to be able to do it at 4. Oh my God, thank you. Okay, if I'm not going to be available at 4, I will definitely have to push it. But I'm just going to say this, B, honey, darling, I heard the video where you called me a poodle kicker. I got that clip, and I'm going to play that one. You called me a poodle kicker when you know that's not the truth. You know it's a lie. But when people call you a dried up $2 mattress prostitute, you have a problem with that. But I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. So let's continue calling her a dried up $2 mattress prostitute, sex trafficking whore. That's her name. That's her name. And since you don't care about the poodle kicker, but I will see you. Well, I'll be there in about 3 weeks. Okay. I will be there in about 3 weeks. So since you don't care about the poodle kicker, please come out and tell me about that. Since you're going to come see me. You're going to come see me, and hopefully somebody catch your fat ass at the laundromat so we can post your fat ass picture all over the place, because I'm looking forward to that too. So I will be back. I gotta go. I will definitely see you guys later. If I'm not here at 4, just keep checking the time. I will be, if I have to push it, I will push it, but I should be, because I had to come into the office, and I was working from home this morning, but I was called in. We have the FDA here. We have OSHA. And so called in, come in, have to be here for the meeting. So love you guys. I would definitely see you guys later. Have a great afternoon. Bye. Let's see. Gwen, thank you. And please stay in y'all air conditioning, because I know Arizona should be hot as hell. Bye, guys.